I doubt my soul is worth much to an animancer.
Why would you say that about yourself?
It's just that I'm not what I'd call strong-willed. I'm tense all the time, and just... Oh, good.
We need
Everyone's
to leave
panicking.
before all of the dusks is flooded with lava.
And then what? Start over with nothing? We'd be better than
I don't like the way that lava is rising.
That's why Nandru built the sluice gates, to redirect the lava flows away.
He's not the one I'm worried about. Someone's going to have to tell the
Watch
outposts.
yourself, Outlander.
Saka, you're right. Okay, let's talk to the others. Speak a messenger. Sure, keep us going. You know what I mean, I knew it. The moment I saw that Assyrian... Girls of that side. Possessed of this god.
Everyone, please, do not panic. Simply exit the keep, quickly and calmly, and...
We're all going to die!
calm yourself. You won't die as long as you listen to me. We already have a camp set up.
Oh, Marius! Praise Abaddon! You are alive!
What's happening? Why's everyone running around like blessed fools?
The volcano erupted. Any minute now, we're going to be flooded. We're evacuating. Kostya's gone to open the lava sluice gates, but they've been disused for so long. When Forja erupted, I thought... Oh, my boy. I'm so glad you're alive. Unless you have come back to help us, Envoy, I don't have time for you. We're minutes away from being overrun by lava flows. I have to get my people out. You must leave now! We told you, we don't know, and this is hardly the time to be asking.
Tell that to the Steel Garote. They found a way to the garden, and it's somewhere beneath the keep. They were about to storm your gates when the volcano erupted.
They're all dead, by the way. You're welcome.
The Steel Garote were marching on the keep? How? Why would they think the garden was beneath Solace?
Why didn't you tell me? You should have reported your findings. Makes sense. They must have used the book to triangulate its location. But still, Kostya's scouts would have seen them and they didn't report. You weren't lying then. He was. Good God.
Could Kostya have told the Steel Garote about another entrance to the garden?
No. If such a thing existed, I can't believe it. He wouldn't. We took an oath to Nandru. The garden was our sacred duty, and he betrayed us. I can't believe I didn't see this coming. I was a fool. I have failed my duties. Kostya. I knew he was making overtures, but I didn't think he'd go that far. The ambassador has not responded to Kostya's overtures, has he? I made sure of that when I threw the ambassador's replies in the forge fire. I understand how Kostya could be tempted by false notions of freedom and prosperity, but...
They can, but I thought us inviolate, beyond these temptations.
I can't believe Kostya handed the Steel Garote a secret we protected for hundreds of years. Meyu. Who knows what he'll do with the sluice gates? He cares so little for the keep that I worry he's going to have us drowning in lava.
I will show you where Kostya has gone. If you find that he's doing anything other than opening the gates that would protect our home from the lava, I would ask that you stop him.
Mihala.
I do not wish to see him dead, but if he would risk the keep, then he risks our lives. I cannot suffer those who would harm us to live. Now I must return to the evacuation, and you must go on your way. Let's hope we don't need your wishes. If your arrival is indeed a message from Nandru, I hope he remembers his people well. I hope he is proud of us. And Marius, make it back to us in one piece.
I assume that's an order, Commandant?
Head through the door in the smithy. You'll find Kostya in the lava tubes beneath the keep. Go now, and go with the gods.
Abidon and Magran ever kiss? They both like fire.
Ah, the outsiders! Welcome. Outsider! That was a damn big explosion, wasn't it? Heard it down here above the sound of the anvils. I hope you don't mind if I shout a bit. I feel like it's impossible to hear anything over all this banging and quenching. Indeed, when they came down to tell us that we had outsiders about, I swore I misheard. I probably should have cleaned up the place.
They went through this door. Be careful down there.
It's odd, but there's a beauty to this place. Maybe because it's a place in Galloway's tusks I've never been.
Anything this beautiful is usually poisonous. Let's keep moving.
Magma's getting awfully high. Might want to hurry.
You're on your right! Another one! Are you all right?
We're in a bit of a rush, Envoy.
Costume left them behind to die. Blessed Corba.
voices silenced.
We need to keep moving if we're gonna catch Kostya.
They wound us, and we wound in return.
East ahead!
Kostya knew about this, he'd be selling tickets.
I'd come across references to this before, but nothing could have.
Come and get me.
Kostya doesn't care who dies. That Korba must be stopped.
Kostya is going to start without us if we don't get a move on. Well, if you insist.
Ease ahead.
Well, that was fun. tomb.
A spark. Daylight. Essence we have not felt in
know you can speak.
No. Here. Now. It cannot be.
My brother, soul of my soul, how did you find me here? A god beyond the grasp of gods. What is the will to a man subject to one like them? I told Sabadal not to look for me. I did not wish to be found. I have been here for so long. No one came looking. Andrew, you are blessed, my fellow Parkronan said. But I did not come here to meet Sabadal. I am hiding from them. I remember it all. I feel Sabadal's mind beneath yours, swimming in the deep. You should run. That was the name they gave themselves. Stolen from the ancient souls, whose deaths gave rise to them, to us. We were little more than appendages to them. That is why I must ask you to destroy them. They shield you from the truth of what they are. The Dream Scourge has existed as long as they have. Don't you see? It is their infection. You, my brother, who are more brave than I, go now to the garden and hang the gardener from their tree. You need only walk a little more. You are nearly at the end. You know, I always meant to die down here. To siphon my soul into a lonely pillar, disconnected from the stone that makes our world. Disconnected from them. I only hope that Sabadal releases you to the same long peace. It is only a door, carved and warded by my own rough hands. It knew me. It will know you, because the same thorn tears at us both. I do not know my end. In that I find a peace beyond any even the true gods can dream of. Do not thank me. Only do as I asked. Destroy them, brother. And when you see Wodeka, tell her I said hello.
You alright? We lost you there for a bit, but not like before.
Another day, another chat with Sumatra. Though this one seemed different.
So, do we have a plan for Kostya once we find him?
Kostya's already proven himself an enemy of Solace. Whatever you choose to do with him after we stop him is fine with
me. The sluice gates are just ahead. Kostya's probably already there. Let's move.
Lava's rising. We have to stop this now.
Good, you're here. Help me destroy the switch. We can't risk someone turning it and opening the gates. If the keep falls so that we might live, so be it. I figured you might have. Bloodthirsty. You people just can't help yourselves. I could have used them. I could have fixed everything. But you've done me a favor in a way. So long as the keep stands, my people are trapped here, doomed by an oath to a dead man. Our people were nomads for ages until we built the keep. When it falls, we'll be free to explore the world again. I will not watch my people rot here for the sake of a pointless oath. Nandru isn't here. He was never here. He built us a tomb and abandoned us to it. Do not speak his name to me as if it could mean anything to you.
A life for rubble, blood for the prison of old ways. We twine.
Stand down, Kostya. This just isn't your day.
Envoy, I understand that Kostya grates on the nerves, but perhaps we should...
So be it. And you are so close. The entrance to the garden is just beyond this door. I always knew it would come to this.
Get off me!
done. Solace is safe. Thank the gods.
Did the keep look as confining before? The keep is beautiful. Like a gilded carriage.
Closer. We have waited so long.
Again.
I've never been happier to see the
I told you. I knew that adherence was a blessing.
What happened, Adirin? Is everyone all right? Thank you. I cannot explain how afraid I was for my people and our home. Perhaps so. Either way, I understand now the nature of my errors. It will not happen again. Here. I once was this artifact's custodian, but I failed in protecting the keep. This belongs to one who has proven capable of guarding my people. I wish so much that things had gone differently. Marius, could I speak to you?
Right, did she just ask that? Or am I having another nightmare? Good. Let's save the hugs and tears for another time. Okay, let's hear it.
I'm so glad you're safe and that you're surrounded by good people.
All right. Waiting for the but?
There's no but waiting. That's all I wanted to say. Truly. I am genuinely happy you found friendship, Marius. You always deserved more than the world gave you. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, you've always given me more than I deserved.
It was a true thing.
I still can't believe that sucker subject to Kostya would go that far.
I feel crazy saying this, but Kostya was right. We should have let Solace Keep fall.
Crazy is one word for it. You really think you can just burn down someone's ancestral home?
Dearie, the keep isn't a home. It's a prison. And now the Pargrunen will never escape.
Solace is my home. I still don't get why any of you feel like you have a say in this.
But you left.
Because I chose to. Kostya doesn't get to make that decision for everybody.
If Kostya doesn't, Mihala will.
Civilization, as we know it, hasn't existed in the living lands for very long. We need to preserve what history we have.
Darling, you know I hate to think of losing all of that history more than anyone. But think of what they could have gained. Maxim left the Republics, and it allowed Animancers in Fjord to thrive.
Destroying our home is not starting something new.
You really think everyone in Solace is there willingly? If anything, I imagine Mihala and her traditionalists will only make it harder to leave now. You know your own mind. There's something to be said for that.
True. And you've a date with the gods soon. We can only hope that you'll make better decisions.
And that's not all. Not to spoil the moment with good news, but I doubt the rest of the island has been quiet while we've been looking for the garden. Things have only gotten more tense since Fior, and the Steel Garote probably hasn't been doing us any favors on that front.
Especially when they're led by a woman who doesn't seem interested in staying dead. Not to mention, after we take care of the Envoy's little god problem, we'll still have an empire bearing down on us.
Who knew an archmage could be so relatable?
Can't say I'm too excited about just walking into the garden. I grew up learning I needed to protect that place, but it never felt like more than a children's tale to me.
I hear you. This island is weird enough when all we have to worry about are vengeful plans and soul-altering corruption.
Am I the only one who's looking forward to the garden? We're pioneers, stepping into the great unknown, a land of mystery.
We have to remember to love them in spite of their lack of proper enthusiasm, dearie.
That's the spirit. And funny you should mention it. I have a theory about the garden, or a warning, depending on how you want to look at it. Sapadal has been imprisoned a long time. The garden will be a reflection of their dreams, their nightmares, their madness.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw visions or hallucinations, and not even the fun kind.
About that, before we go any further, I have to ask you something. You told the Inquisitor that you intend to free Sapadal, set them loose upon the world. Is that still the plan? You're as unpredictable as ever. Not that I disapprove. Sapadal is responsible for the spiritual health of the living lands, and the island has suffered for it. No matter what the Inquisitor said, I don't believe there's a right or wrong choice to make here. Just the one you believe in. Just one. Remember, we're stepping into a realm that is both physical and spiritual in nature, if you can call it nature. There's no telling how long we'll be gone. For all we know, time could run backwards in the garden.
Not a chance. We're a crew now, so you're stuck with me until the end. Marius?
I told you I'd be with you till the end. I don't go back on my promises. What about you, Giada?
You're not going into the garden without me. I have to see this with my own eyes. Yatsley, if you feel like running back to Quilici, now would be the time. No one would think less of you.
And tell Quilici that I missed out on the most exciting part.
And you don't have to. We pull together, and that's plenty.
I plan on wandering the garden whether I'm traveling with you or not. I have to find out what the big deal is.
Agreed. I'm not waiting in camp while the rest of you have all the fun. Hope to see you out there, Marius.
Well, let's go then. We can't keep your god waiting.
So, this is it. The spiritual epicenter of the living lands. Where it all began, and where it all ends. For so long I have looked out on a horizon full of possibilities. Now that it's here, I'm too scared to breathe. Why am I so anxious? You may be right. When I gave up, I stopped worrying so much. And now that we're here, it's obvious I don't know what I want anymore. Do you remember when Manto Pastor sent you after the heart of an Adragan? That was nothing compared to this. We are standing in the beating heart of the living lands. Just imagine what we can do with it. I almost turned my back on animancy. And if I'm being honest, it was a relief. But now that we're here, who am I to reject my upbringing, my potential? My parents were going to build a better world for animancers. That dream was their legacy to me. You and I have come farther than they did, to an impossible place where anything can happen. Anything. Of course you are. I don't know what's going to happen, but you've had my back since the beginning. I won't forget it. You want to talk? Let's talk. I'll tell you whatever I know. Well, that depends. I know a few spooky stories about the living lands. They may or may not have anything to do with the garden.
Okay, but if something goes bump in the night, I'm waking you up.
Let me think of a good one. There are so many, I can't decide. Which do you want to hear first? I know one about a ranger's dream, one about a haunted well, and one about a golden city. Many years ago, when Fior Messiverno was barely a dot on the map, an animancer got lost in the wilderness. He came upon a pair of ancient trees, their trunks and branches intertwined. A strange light shone in the space between the trees, and beyond that light, a city of gold. So the animancer returned with an axe to chop the trees apart and fit his body through the narrow gap. But with every blow of his axe, the towers of the golden city fell. The walls crumbled, the lights flickered out. By the time he made it through, there was nothing left. Only the bones of a once mighty civilization. As for the two trees, they were dead, hacked to splinters, leaving him no path back the way he came. The end of one story, and perhaps the beginning of another. It's very strange. I can't remember who told me that story, and no one claims to have heard it before. Who could rest at a time like this? Does anyone want to share a scary story? I must admit, you could have helped Kostya destroy the keep, but you left it standing. Why? Thank you for that. Even if Solace isn't going anywhere, I think your arrival was a sign of changes to come. Wherever you go, you break people out of their habits. You banish the old ways. Then it's a good thing you're here. Better late than never. Wherever that power comes from, whether it's your heritage or political status, it's a terrible burden. I don't envy you, but at least you keep things interesting. Anything in... Of course. Which one? One sunny day, a ranger took a nap in the woods of Emerald Stair. He awoke to a forest of dead trees, the night sky full of unfamiliar stars. After getting his bearings, he walked in the direction of Fior Messivernal, but the settlement was gone. In its place was the most beautiful garden, hills bursting with flowers, the grass as soft as Valiant silk. Enchanted by this vision, he bent to pick a rose, but its thorn cut like a knife, severing 3 fingers. Then, a voice filled his head, shouting, "Go now, before the land takes you, body and soul." He awoke in his own bed, a wilted rose clutched in his 2-fingered hand. It's nonsense, of course, but that's why I like it. Of course. Which one did you have in mind? Once upon a time, a young girl left town to fetch water from the local well. After pulling up the rope, she discovered the head of a Delimgan, one of the tree folk, staring at her from the bucket. "Return me to my grove," it said, "and I will grant you 3 wishes." So she carried the head into a peaceful clearing and sat it down on a tree stump. First, she wished for long life. The head granted her wish. Second, she wished to be impervious to a sword blade. Granted. And finally, she wished to know what happens after we die. No one ever saw her again. All they found was an Adra pillar in the middle of a clearing, next to an old stump. Very perceptive. What do you think it is? I have my own opinion, but I'm curious about yours. That is true of many places, not just the living lands. These stories might not shine any light on the garden, but they could inform the way we think about it. First, the garden is beyond all mortal understanding. If you think you're safe here, you're not. And second, when you walk into the unknown, make sure to bring a friend. Indeed. I couldn't have made it this far on my own. Hey, you're a good listener. Not everyone has the patience to hold their questions to the end. Alas, that is all I can tell you about the garden. For now, at least. Until next time.
Envoy? Blacked out at that Adra and the lava tubes beneath Solace. But it seemed different somehow. Right. I actually believe you. This is madness, Envoy. You spoke to the founder of Solace. I bet it was. You could finally complain to someone about all the face stuff. People in Solace always claim they're speaking the word of Nandru. And here you are, actually hearing from the man. Doesn't even really matter what he said, if you ask me. There are hundreds of Pargrunen who'd give anything to hear Nandru's voice. Blessed day impressive is what that is. Envoy, what do you need? Thanks for talking.
I'm starting to suspect that every single leader in the living lands is incompetent. Truly, is there no vetting process? Hopefully those in Solace Keep will choose their leaders with more care in the future. But we should check on Marius. I'll make him some soothing perfume, but I think a few words from you would help too. Well, of course, I'm not suggesting it's always a fix for issues. But those poor Pargrunen are clearly prisoners of their traditions. I think getting rid of the keep could have helped more than they realized. I do not envy the Pargrunen in any case. Meeting that council gave me a new appreciation for Vidaru. Well, Fjord has already been burned to the ground, so that's half the work already, I suppose. Barrett's balls. What a nightmare. We're losing focus on the important things. Things like the garden. Oh, come on, Envoy, let's get going. How can I help, darling? I'm starting to suspect that every single leader in the living lands is incompetent. Truly, is there no vetting process? Hopefully those in Solace... But... Well, of course, but those... I think... I do not... Meeting that... Well, there... Oh, come... How can I... Sweet dreams, Envoy.
When you find Sapadal, I hope you tell him how much I love what they've done with this place. And you've got to enjoy it where you can find it. Besides, as divine prisons go, I can imagine much worse. And judging from Sapadal's outbursts at Mount Forja and Naku Kubel, you're probably not far off. They're a few provocations away from disaster. Aha. I've heard that one before. Usually before a lot of tears, a lot of drinks, and a lot of, I should have known better. I hope you're right, because we are all in trouble if you're wrong. You know, if Sapadal were only a smuggler, assassin, or bandit, I'd be right there with you. But knowing they could end us all with a temper tantrum puts things in perspective. I guess we've all got our limits. I don't envy you having to deal with a loose cannon of a god. But I envy even less the mess you're going to have when we escape this place. Lucky thing your emperor sent his best representative as his envoy, right? You'll have your work cut out for you. A lot of people aren't going to make that distinction. Especially when your Ambassador Heelguard hosted Lödwyn in Paradis for as long as her assistance was convenient. The Steel Garote leveled fewer. Even if Animancers aren't the most popular bunch, everyone gets nervous when fields burn. And yeah, I know that's on the Steel Garote, but it's not lost on anyone that your people despise Animancy. Not when Heelguard banned the practice in Paradis. Oh, I wish I were finished. Ringram may have unleashed some powerful magic against the Dream Scourge, but she left a lot of corpses in her wake. That doesn't look good for your people. Not when Lödwyn was also in the region, and your people had a garrison at Eagle's Reach. And then there's Solace. You might have saved the keep, but no one's going to talk about the disaster that didn't happen. They're going to talk about why Mount Forja erupted after all this time. I don't think anyone else is going to understand the indirectly. Fairly or not, a lot of blame's gonna be laid at Adir's door. And if I had to guess, I don't think Heelguard's been helping matters while you've been out here. If and when we get out of here, we're walking into a powder keg. And you'll have to choose a side. That's the part I don't envy. I admire your principles, but don't underestimate what they could demand of you. Look, I've been there. I fought for Rauatai's interest in the Deadfire for longer than I like to admit. I lost my stomach for it eventually. That's how I wound up here. But I will tell you now, I never could have fought my own brothers and sisters. I hope that's not what it comes down to. But I'll understand if that's a line you can't cross. I don't mean to burden you. It's late, and you've still got a god to face. Just know that whatever you choose, I'll fight alongside you. I'm with you to the end of this. Anytime. What's on your mind? And I've got answers. Some of them may even be true. I'm not sure I'll be much help. I barely plan further than the next meal, and you're asking me? I don't know, Envoy. I just try to take each day and each battle as it comes. And you can see where that's gotten me. But I think it's possible to be too prepared. I know. That's gotta make this difficult advice to follow. You know what all of us think by now. Ultimately, you're the one who has to decide what to do with Sapadal and where your loyalties lie. My advice? Get a good night's rest, and when the moment comes, follow your instincts. Don't forget that every soul in the living lands hangs in the balance. But look at it this way. Whatever you choose, you'll end the Dream Scourge, and you'll give the living lands a future. And I'd wager that's better than where we are now. I'll be here if you need me.
You're telling me the Archmage Console Hut is just a floating skull?
Oh, he does find himself between bodies from time to time, but not usually.
That must be terribly inconvenient, especially for whomever has to carry him around.
I heard a rumor he loves candied nuts. How does that work for a floating skull?
Right, I refuse to even entertain the idea of a skull floating around casting spells and eating nuts.
Then it's agreed. If we come across a floating skull, we just keep walking. Let me get this straight. You spoke to the spirit of Nandru, a godlike, same as you. What did he say? Any advice? Any words of encouragement? Not the inspirational speech we were hoping for, then. I should have seen this coming. Never listen to the dead. They're cynical, full of regret, and determined to make us all miserable. Thankfully, you're still alive. Fate is in your hands. See? The future is looking brighter already. No one is closer to Sapadal than you are. Nandru lost that privilege when he died, which means you alone can judge the god of the living lands. Your opinion is the one that counts. A caged animal lashes out at friend and foe alike. For what it's worth, I think you're going to be fine. No matter what you do about Sapadal, it can't get any worse. I wish I could say the same for the living lands. You too.
Looks like we'll have to find another way through.
This is the place.
I think we've found Sapadal's home.
Let's go.
You asked for it. Check your eyes.
I think I sprained my shoulder.
I think this is the only way down. After you.
A breath held. Trepidation. You are close, yet distant still. Bars were not enough. They writhe. They seek to silence us. Only essence sustains them now. Hatred seated in the heart. We wonder. Deer leaps at its reflection in the lake. You have defied our expectations at every turn. Perhaps we should not have been. The seabed speaks in riddles. A pearl whose shell we cannot grasp. We would run, roll with the tide, sink our fingers into new earth. whisper in the fields, lift the hills gently in our hands. Disturb the dirt, but spare the blooms. Shake the roots slowly. Vengeance denied, squandered. This cannot be. We feel nothing amiss. We speak of freedom when the hand still clasps around our throat. Wake now. Find us.
I see the disciple has found his way into the cell.
No. We know this voice, this presence, sneering at us through our prison bars.
I culled your rot from this land before. I will do it again. And is. You carve lands into petty fiefdoms, but we are the gods of all Aora. Did you think only your parasite could whisper in your ear? All of Aora is imperiled. Now, I will not waste my time.
Out. Out. Her voice pierces our skin.
Look at this place. A quagmire of your parasite's worst instincts. Can you even begin to grasp the forces that you tamper with? Apparently, I must. The situation is worse than I perceived. Do you think you're special, with your god's thorn in your side? Do you believe you can hold dominion over chaos itself? When even the collective fury of the real gods could only confine the sniveling creature to this wasteland. I have merely told you truth that does not suit you.
It is true. She twists the knife. The seas run red with memory.
In time, the gods felt the wretched powers seeping through this land. Its madness would consume us all if it was not contained. chaos threatens us all, we will ensure order prevails. A pity that its followers could not be reasoned with. Of course I do. The poor godless, worshipping the very thing that subsumed them. We could not excise the rot and spare the roots that nourished it. You dare claim the domain of the gods is trivial? True leaders make choices when others would turn away.
Why does our prison not protect us? Help us! Silence her!
Listen to its tantrum. It knows neither order nor sense. Adir is the only thing holding back the tide of entropy. Then they will keep applying the rod until it understands. But there is still time. You can succeed where Lödwyn failed. Face your false god and end its reign of terror permanently. Very well. I cannot force a child to bend to my will. But I will not stand by and watch you undo my work. You should have thought more carefully before you broke your oath to the Empire. Let this be a lesson to you.
I never thought I'd learn of the Godless's fate from their killer.
That's it. From now on, I pray to no god.
working network? It isn't looking this way, is it?
Let's finish.
Ease ahead!
I know that place, right? Oh no. No. Why is this? They're dead. Like it just happened. Like I remember.
This is the moment I found you, bundled and crying, while our parents died.
Viate. You're not here. You can't be here.
I am dead, Viate, from the Dream Scourge. We are in the garden. As strange as this seems, it is normal here. I can't be certain of that. I know that I am here, and for a purpose.
I have faced this already. Why force me to do it again? Then for the gods' sake, what is it? I am exhausted, Viate. I can't take much more of this.
You know where we are. This is my memory. When everyone died, and I found you back in your tent. How much of this do you remember? I can't tell from your eyes.
We dealt with Razvan. He got what was coming to him.
Good. And when he arrives here, he will have me to deal with. Sapadal wants to understand. They know your envoy very well, but not the people next to them.
I have what I needed. We dealt with Razvan. We avenged our parents' deaths.
Then maybe it was I who needed to speak with my Viate. With a clear mind this time. Even when we were children, you kept me alive, first by needing my protection, and then by being who you turned out to be. When you left Solace, it was like I lost more than my best friend. I lost my need to live.
I know. And I'm not sure I'll ever live that down. I don't think I know how.
You've always done everything you could to survive. It's time for you to learn how to live.
So, what do we do now?
I feel strongly that there's nothing left to forgive.
Easier said than accepted, Viate. Forgiving myself is the hardest part. We've both been through so much. But I can see that it's all behind us now. Just another thing we've survived after all this time.
A fine way to put it. More like tolerate, in my case, but... right.
See what I put up with, Envoy? Still wonder why I left Solace?
Get out of here. Hike up your waistline and go talk to a god. They'll be waiting.
Well, it was... good to see you, Viate. Even with all this.
Take care of my little friend, Envoy. He needs you more than he'll say.
Nice job, everyone.
Defend! Good and wrong! Eon Sink! Eon Sink!
I wonder what this is doing here.
This room. It looks just like Thomas. Tama. No. No. This can't be. I escaped this memory. What is this, Envoy? This is your God's prison, not mine. For all of her litanies on oaths, order, and justice, I forgot she's also the god of vengeance. Is this really him? He looks older than I remember. Not him, then. I've seen this moment playing through my head so many nights, run from it each and every time. And still, somehow, it finds me here, in a crazy god's fever dream. And I thought Rauatai and naval punishments were cruel. I guess I should be grateful it's not really him. I'd hate to imagine him stuck in this moment. That he lived, and we laughed about it and grew old together. But I'd settle for remembering the good times we did have, instead of this. I've escaped ambushes, wars, and gambling debts, but I have never figured out how to get away from this. I wish I could say yes, but I don't think I'm a better man now than I was then. He can't hear me. What does it matter now? When you put it that way, I suppose it can't hurt to try, can it? Tama, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I ran when you needed me. I'm sorry I've kept running all this time. You taught me how to keep sand out of my rifle and what it means to be part of a team, and now, despite my best efforts, you're teaching me how to let go. I can't change the past, but if Bareth brings us together again, I will make it up to you at the next turn of the wheel. Yeah? Huh. I just wish I'd said it sooner. Come on. I've seen enough of this place. Let's go find your god.
than raw!
Little power goes a long way. Charge it up. Just a little spark. Little power goes a long way. Speed up! Charge it up. This power goes a long way. Seeing what I'm seeing? Or am I going mad? What is the meaning of this? It can't be real. This is an illusion. A joke. Tell me we're both seeing the same thing. I hate it. Why am I cursed to see this again? Why does the memory follow me wherever I go? They have a sick sense of humor. Whoever is responsible, I'm tired of the bullshit. Step forward and answer for yourself, coward!
Godlike of Sapadal, long have we awaited you.
Finally, you've come home.
It's not just me, right? The plants are talking.
Oh my gods. They're alive? How? Where would I even begin?
Giada Castel, welcome.
Wait, you know me? How do you know me?
For centuries, our whispers filled the silence. Then we heard your mother's call.
My mother? You heard her?
She reached out to us, using the tool you now carry.
But that would have been years ago. The first time she used the phantasmal focus. The only time she used it.
We heard, and Sapadal answered, saying in a great voice, "We are here. You have found us."
But when Sapadal speaks, the living lands trembles. The voice of a god can be a terrible thing.
I don't know what to say. What exactly happened to my parents? Tell me, please. I need to know.
Sapadal wanted to be heard, and in so doing, twisted your family in body and soul, broke them into a more suitable shape.
Sapadal does not know the limits of their strength. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made? Do you have any idea what my life has been since your little mistake?
After the incident, your parents were like us, and we took pity, so we helped them move on, as they wanted.
In the end, they thought only of you, their pride, and their love.
That's it. That's really it. The answer I've been searching for all these years. Sapadal destroyed my family.
We are companions, toys, diversions. Sapadal fashioned us out of dreams and memories.
I can't believe it never occurred to me. They're animats. Ancient vessels held together with duty and loyalty. Their design is unusual, organic, much like the garden itself. Sapadal's work. All this time, your god has been making imaginary friends, drawing pictures on the walls of their cell. It's almost too sad to imagine. I don't hold you responsible. I don't even know if I hold Sapadal responsible. Your god has the intelligence of a scatterbrained goat, but that isn't their fault. It's simply how they came into being. I know they are. My mother and father would not have wanted this. A good animancer embraces death. And they were the best. One final question, spirits. What is this? Why are you trying to ruin my life again? Is this your way of haunting me? What is it you want?
Not to be pedantic, but that was 4 questions.
We want to apologize on Sapadal's behalf, and for the part we played in your sorrow.
They want to apologize. I came to the garden for answers, not to offer forgiveness. Was it a mistake? Because no matter where we go, the gods can't stop themselves from hurting us. Our lives are a game to them. Damn it. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Sapadal has been trapped here for millennia. Alone. Confused. Screaming into the void for anyone who will listen. When they heard the voice of a stranger, they overreacted. How can I hold that against you? Apology accepted.
Thank you, Chiara. And thank you, Godlike, for bringing her all this way.
The time has come for you to find your patron, as you were meant to.
Now that you have returned to the garden, Sapadal has everything they need. We will fade, as all things fade. You have already learned more than we could ever teach. We know only growth and stillness, root and flower.
We will return to the soil from which we emerged. In time, you will do the same. Our purpose draws to a close. A long rest is assured. May the living lands receive you with open arms. Farewell.
Goodbye. We need to talk about this, but not here.
Give her space, dearie. Giada will speak more when she's ready.
All this time, I thought my parents died in a freak accident. An experiment gone awry. A mistake. And in a way, they did. But it wasn't their mistake. It was Sapadal's. Generous? Perhaps. Until I knew the whole story, there was never anyone to blame. This whole experience has me considering my family's work in a different light. Look at what my mother accomplished. Armed with her research and her wits, she found a god. When you speak to a god, it's nothing. Barely a reflex. But for the rest of us, it's unimaginable. No animancer can live up to that. Certainly not me. I thought their legacy was a curse, and I could only break it by completing their work. I was wrong. I suppose I have been all this time. I just never realized it. One thing is certain. When it comes to animancy, I need to unlearn some of my old assumptions. I wanted to tame the spirit of the living lands. Now, there's so much about it I don't understand. And it's creepy, but wonderful. They probably won't even notice me. But stranger things have happened. I believe the power flowing out of the garden drove this island mad. That has to end. Through animancy, we could help the living lands recover. It would take a lifetime, maybe more, but that's a small price to pay. Then again, who am I to interfere with an ecosystem that I barely understand? On the other hand, half the fun of animancy is stirring the pot and getting into trouble. I think I know what I want, but there are too many variables to consider. What do you think? I have a lot of catching up to do, and plenty of room to grow. But I think you're right. So be it. Starting today, I don't have to live up to anyone's example. Animancy can be whatever I make of it. I know they would be. And not just because some ancient plans told me so. Now I just have to decide which field of research to pursue. But no need to bore you with the details. I've only got one lifetime as Giata Castel, so I'd better make it count. Hey, you helped me through a very difficult time. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're good with the animancy stuff. You should keep, doing that. I came here to help you do whatever you're supposed to do with your god friend. Instead, I'm here talking to dead people. I think it did. He really did seem at peace, right? I imagine most encounters with dead old friends don't, go so well. I owe a lot of that to you, Envoy. You helped me be someone who could handle Sokka like that. Thank you. I will say, it's not really what I expected when I started tracking you and Kai back in Paradise. You're in a good place, then. Strange seems to follow you like dust gnats. It's been a bit of a ride, Envoy. I feel like it's coming to an end. One way or another. I don't know. Maybe the unexpected isn't so bad after all. I never expected you and I would become friends. Quick note. If you tell any of the others I said that, I'll poison your drink. Anyway. Pleasant dreams.
If we make it out of this place, we'll have stories to tell. Wonder if anyone will believe them. My favorite subject. Check your bedroll for fangworms. Hey, Giada. How are you holding up after seeing those, plant people?
Well, I've seen things not intended for mortal eyes, and uncovered the dark truth of my family's downfall. But here I am. And how are you?
Don't worry about me. I just want to know how you're feeling.
I'm complicated. But at least I know what happened to my parents.
Knowing's one thing. Feeling okay about it's another.
Yes, that part could take a while.
As long as it doesn't turn into a ghost story. I'm here if you need to talk.
We're talking right now.
It won't be easy, but you have to let yourself feel it. All of it. Even the parts that hurt like a blessed saltfly bite.
Just be kind to yourself, dearie.
I don't know what to say, except I'm grateful to know each of you.
See all this in its heyday, in its full splendor.
I should have brought my sketchbook.
Enemies ahead!
We have been here. We were here all the yesterdays before. A curse. Ancient whispers. Do not let it escape, they said. We feel no spark of the Tibaris Inachus in this place. We cannot see it through their eyes. We slumber here, alone. The deer, the owls in our trunk, they took it all away. A tide of souls thrown upon the wheel. The ground gives way. We fall. Now our memory is a wound reopened. They came suddenly. The stillness of night split by grinding steel. We had no time to speculate. First, they blinded us. Shining eyes pierced the concealing dark. Then they burned. Smoke ensnared the moonlight. The Akita screamed. No. We saw a terrible design in the roaring flames. They had carved a path to the temple. We were their true prey. Douse the candle, only for the sun to rise again. We persisted. We were everywhere. How could they cull the wind? How could they trap the stars? Then, they turned to what the Akita had made. They toppled the statues. They set the libraries ablaze. They could not kill us. They would curse us to oblivion. The Akita howled. They died. We cried out, sundered soul by soul. We broke the earth, called down the storm, flung lightning from our hands. But they marched on. We grew tired. In fury, we exposed ourselves. Weakened, they advanced on us, they struck. They raised machines, we tried to tear down the garden's walls. Then, nothing. Not death. Worse. A void. We reached out, but the machines held us in. We could not feel the new day's sun. Lay in the shifting tide. The cities crumbled. We could not save them. We could not save ourselves. Their cries, swords in our heart, a severed limb. We watched helplessly for aeons, until you. We are the lamp, the bonfire, forces to be controlled. The wound numbs now. We watch as the river of time expands. In the silence of our prison we find clarity. How many voices lost? How many saplings have we cut down? We sink into the endless night. Perhaps we should be here. Fish swims in circles. We are not sure we understand. We feel the hatchets in our bark. Our scars no longer pain. Soil stirs. We have a new memory of this place. You opened the final lock, entered the hidden glade. You listened. You stand at a cliff now. We watch your footsteps carefully. We twine together. We reach for the sky. We grow. We grow. We grow.
Look out! Get off me!
Then roll! Then roll! Ease ahead! I'm seeking!
That's done? Who's hungry?
then raw! Eat ahead! Behind it! Kema Yesu!
This place seems less like a death trap. Maybe we could stop, catch our breath.
There's always a weird sort of quiet on the eve of battle. I'm feeling that now. Seems like a good time to gather our thoughts and share a drink before whatever's coming.
Right. This seems like a perfect place to stop and relax.
Though it's hard enough to tell what's real here without a belly full of drink.
Sounds like you're nervous, dearie.
I'm feeling all kinds of ways. Anxious, excited, scared, hungry.
I feel it as well. It is only mortal to feel overwhelmed in the presence of the immortal.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me. Getting to see that vision of Tama did me good. Like, I finally let go of something I'd been holding too long. Now that we're here, I'm eager to see this through. Nothing worse than holding your breath and waiting. Same. I'd rather have good company in a prison than paradise alone.
I had a feeling you might ask me that. I'm not sure I've really worked through what I've seen here, but I am grateful for the chance to see Yonku again. I feel like we're almost done with all of this, but we are in the weirdest place in the world, so who knows? I'm completely baffled, but when haven't I been lately? Being afraid doesn't even feel scary anymore.
I think so. The garden is so much more than I expected. Full of contradictions. Wild, yet serene. Truthfully, I didn't come all this way searching for my own answers. But I found them. Or perhaps they found me. And now, it's like there's a new path laid out before me. A life after the dream scourge. We're close to something. A threshold between calm and crisis. Conflict and peace. Life and death. So am I. None of us could have gotten this far on our own.
Well, I won't lie to you, Envoy. A lot's happened. But here we are. I just need a moment to take it all in. We all could, but I don't think we'll get it. And I wouldn't worry. Our little group here is perfectly frightening, and I'm sure our enemies would agree. We'll be fine. I can't speak for anyone else, though.
You've listened to all of us. How about you? You've been through a lot since you arrived. You've been shipwrecked and assassinated, harangued by gods, bureaucrats, and a death guard. You've had your soul poked, your loyalties questioned, and your sleep regularly interrupted by a god with no respect for privacy. And yet you've kept yourself and all of us together. How are you really doing?
You're very resilient. Under different circumstances, I would credit your nature as a godlike. But we all know better. You're strong enough to survive anything. Sapadal picked a good soul when they made you.
That actually made sense to me. As if I've learned something about souls and whatnot.
I'll take that as a compliment.
How about you, Envoy? What keeps you so stoic in the face of everything? Oh, your lecturer must have been furious. You're lucky to be alive.
When we first met, I didn't think you'd last long. But then I saw how you handled that dream thrall there. Shook off your own death like a bad cold. And then you confronted your own killer and let him go. It takes a special kind of strength to stay your hand in a moment like that.
I didn't know much about you at that point. You were traveling with Kai and you died, which I thought made a lot of sense.
I remember your calm. How you listened to my shouting match with the governor and actually heard me. And when they burned my home, you gave me another one. A sanctuary where I could be myself. I'll never forget that.
You were my hero right away. You rescued me from those sporlings. You got my priceless face. What more could a girl ask for?
And now look at you. Look at us. How far we've come in a short time. One crisis at a time, please. I can only lose so much sleep.
He's right. Not to raise the sails before the anchor, but we left trouble in our wake. Fjord, Thirdborn, Solace. If we make it out of here, it won't be to a living lands suddenly at peace.
Just this once, could we forget about the rest of the living lands? Some of us could use a break.
That doesn't mean it's Giada's scary story time, does it?
I thought my stories were insightful.
If we can't take a moment to ourselves on a floating island outside reality, then I don't know where we can.
Right. We could all use some beauty rest. We'll want to look our best on the battlefield, won't we? Sleep well, my friends.
It feels like we're in another world. One that isn't used to our kind. I don't know what I expected. Everything here feels wrong, as if we're standing in the eye of a storm. Can you feel it? Essences radiating from the very stones on which we walk. This is a place of power, forgotten by time. We are insignificant by comparison. Does that answer your question? Thank goodness. One word of advice. Trust nothing you see or hear. For all we know, this is happening in your head. Or better yet, in mine. Thanks for talking.
Envoy, pinch me. I must be dreaming. I've long imagined what the garden could look like, but... even all the depictions I've seen in all the ruins, they didn't do it. And that's not even counting all the little surprises we've gotten. We learned the fate of the Akita from their killer herself. And you're on the way to meet your god. Years of being an unclaimed godlike. And now, it feels like a typhoon of information has hit us. I've yet to catch my breath. There are even floating sky islands. How are you staying so calm? You could be a bit more excited. I just want to focus on memorizing everything I can. The architecture is obviously in pristine condition, let alone... Just be sure to remember everything we see. I'll want to pick your brain later. This place it's more than I could have ever dreamed. I know we have to find your god and figure out what to do with them, but... I almost feel like I could stay... Well, perhaps Quilici and I could move in here. Surely, he'd see the possibilities. Still, I just... it's breathtaking. And think how much I could learn here. Pockets of time in the lives of the Akita are here, and... but we've not even gotten to the end yet. We haven't seen everything. Let's get moving. There's my favorite Adiran. Tired already, Envoy?
I've heard of strange colors in the sky and weeks of twilight in the white that wins. Wonder if it's anything like this. Rest while you can. We're almost at the...
Envoy, what do you need? You too. So those green people in the garden, those weren't your parents?
No. They were Sapadal's dreams given life. Ancient sentinels bound by loyalty.
And they were plants because...
Because that's all Sapadal knew how to make. A smithy smiths, a baker bakes, a gardener gardens.
Right, I understand.
It's all right if you don't.
Good, because I really don't.